Well, it should be fun. Let's see how this works out, shall we? Good morning, Darth Tyron. Hope you like this song, because this is basically the only time it plays. Good morning, Tyron, Juanta, Loner, Dream Whisper, Tequita, Super Banjo, Geludo. Just to make people ask that question. It's the only reason, and there's definitely no actual reasoning behind it. Good morning, Platty. Or should I say, Way? Which I'm making you do Way's lines, no matter what. Hey, Platinum Pineapple. So yeah, why 8 before 7? There's actually several reasons. The most important one is that we're playing the PC version. We will not be playing the PC version of 7 and 9, so this is going to help my setup from a hardware perspective. But there is another reason. 8's not as good as 7 or 9. So, we're getting 8 out of the way, because then after this we have 5 games in a row, which are at the very least going to be good. The only one I'm unsure about is 4. Even that, well, it's probably... yeah. Now, all that being said, I will say I have no idea what to expect walking into this one as far as score. Completely up in the air. There's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to 8, as I've showcased more than once in the past. I will also add, we are of course playing the PC version, so we do have access to mega cheats built into the game. In fact, actually, I'm pretty sure I can just pull it up right now. I kind of can, but I'll do that in a second. 8 is also unique for me personally because it's one of the FFs I want to remake the most. Like, I would love to do a proper remake of this game. I wouldn't do it first. I'd want to, you know, get a little more experienced first. But then, love to dig into this game. How's the audio volume, by the way? Because I can adjust that. I still have my physical copy of 8, but I can't play it anymore. Physically cannot play it anymore. How's this? If you want me to, Danny. I've actually put a lot of thought into a remake of this game. In fact, I literally have notes about it. Which I suppose ousts me as a geek, and a dork, and a loser, and a worthless person. But, you know, what can I do? There it is. Yeah, I still have my notes. They're right here. So I should mention something. You're probably thinking, why are we playing the PC version of this instead of the Switch version? Because Square is stupid. The entire options menu you're looking at right now is only on the PC version. There we go. That also includes this menu. You can't see it? Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Yeah, one moment. Let me see if I can get it to, just to show it off. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can get it to show off here. try and capture it differently. Okay, so this isn't properly rendered. I guess I can just shrink it back down like this. Ahem. So, yeah, the options menu and the cheats and the boost, all this stuff is exclusive to the PC version. You know, and now some of this makes sense, you know, being able to set resolution and display mode and brightness and blah, blah, blah. Some of this makes a degree of sense. Okay, sure, whatever. The fact that you can edit controls... Now, again, I can't show off cheats and boosts yet, but those options only exist on the PC version of 8. The Switch version of 8 and the PS4 version of 8 and the Xbox version, all the console versions of FF8 have speed up, auto limit, and I think that's actually it as far as built-in stuff. That's it. That's all that's different from them other than just being a port of FF8. So all this extra stuff was only added to the PC version. And the reason it was added to the PC version is because they're incredibly stupid. I actually was complaining about this when we were going through FF12, if you're remembering. There was a interview where they said, we're incredibly stupid. Or, I'm sorry. That's how I remember it anyways. Actually, hang on. Is this it? Hang on, I'm trying to find the exact thing. No, this isn't it. There's a news article about it that someone found where they had an interview where people were asking, why the hell is this stuff PC exclusive? And the answer they gave, paraphrased, was, well, we try to do this thing where we make it so that the best version of the game has the options built for that specific version. So we try to make sure each version is different because we're stupid and ridiculous. And as I said earlier, that's either a flat-out lie or they really are that stupid. It's one of the two. I'm not sure which. By the way, if you've been paying attention, this is also true with FF10 and 10.2 and 12, which is why we played the PC version of all of those games. Now, as I've said before, and just to make my opinion here very clear, when it comes to something like, say, mouse support, or touchscreen support, okay, sure, that makes sense. That actually is something that would be console or PC exclusive. Duh. That's not what they took out. What they took out is menu options and, well, I'm sorry, a menu of options. Let me say that more clearly. Here it is. I found the article. We have thought about what kind of gameplay we will provide to each platform, and how to enjoy each in its own. So as they are different platforms, we do not plan to bring mechanics in the PC version to the PS4 version. In layman terms, it means that you've created the best environment for each hardware. Your play style will change depending on the hardware. So we thought about what would be the best way to play on each hardware. No, so that's a direct quote, and it's a load of hooey. I'm still pissed about this. I would love to give this a negative, but I technically can't by my own rules. But I just wanted to really, really make sure that I said that right up front so everyone understood why that pisses me off. So again, massive stupidity or outright lying. Take your pick. Freaking stupid. Anyways, let's go back to a proper capture version here. Although, maybe it won't capture it properly. I guess we may have to stick with that, so hang on. Hardware limitations. No. Okay, yeah, no, it's just straight up not capturing it. Oh my god. Okay, fine. We'll go back to here. Whatever. I've already got it set up. Before I continue, I do have to give a negative to gameplay right off the bat. Hardware limitations. And that's for unskippable cutscenes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lore, you're dumb and stupid and awful. You're not supposed to do that until you've played through the game a bit. So when I was testing Cairns 955, I found out that he's incredibly awesome, and thank you very, very much for the sub. But unfortunately, Cairns didn't have skippable cutscenes. What the hell, man? Thank you very, very much for the sub, and welcome to the Year Club. If you happen to know where you'd like to put that as far as showing interest, showing interest in a future stream, let me know, and I will go ahead and jot it down, and it'll be awesome. Hello, Dallas. Well, hello, everyone I haven't said hello to personally. We got a lot of people here. Would I call FF8 a good game? With cheats? Yeah. I never want to play this game without cheats again, which is funny because I'm actually not playing this game without... I'm playing this game without cheats this time, and I may actually get all the way to Ultimatia's Castle without cheats. Wouldn't be the first time. I have no idea, Fusion Catalyst. So, I want to explain why it's a negative to unskippable cutscenes. Because as I was testing different versions of this game, in order to try and, see for myself, because the internet doesn't like to report things in as much detail as I'd like when it comes to nitty-gritty. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to buy another copy of the game, which I did, and test it myself. So I was playing the Switch version, and I was playing the PC version, basically side by side. And let me tell you, the opener takes absolutely forever to slog through. Not the intro, the opening. The opening tidbit, and then you have to talk to the medic, and then you have to talk to Quistis, and then you have to go to the classroom, and then you have to finish the classroom cutscene, and then you can go ahead and actually access the menu. And so, in other words, it's the unskippable cutscenes problem of, more modern games, but done in the style of older games. As I've said before, I've done a lore run of Diablo 3, if that's what you're asking, Lux Martiv. As I've said before, unskippable cutscenes, they used to be an absolute thing for me, because we had a big debate about it. And then someone else brought up a new topic, and then we had another big debate on it. And at the moment, unskippable cutscenes are debatable. Depends on the specific game in question. Super Metroid does not get a negative for unskippable cutscenes, whereas Final Fantasy V will, to use a direct example. But this game, there are very large swaths of you can't do anything to speed it up at all. And because of the way the game is designed, it's very cinematic. This is the beginnings of them really experimenting with how to render the text rather than just rendering the text itself. So, and I know they kind of started doing that in 7, but they really started pushing that in 8. And of course, 9 is when they really actually mastered that whole system of being able to have multiple different types of rendering when it comes to text. But while that works fine when you're just watching the cutscene, it does make each cutscene drag on substantially more than it otherwise would. And those are all completely unskippable. So, negative to gameplay. Anyways, let's go ahead and close this out and hit this. And if you want, by the way, Karen's, again, thank you very, very much. If you want, I could just put that towards dealer's choice. That's up to you. I agree with that, Takoida. Like I said, 7 and 8 were both kind of experiments for what became 9's text box style. Although, of course, then 9 just went back to gray or blue, so whatever. So anyways, new game. Fidos lusek wikos vinosek. Oh yeah, for those of you who've never seen me review a game before, we're going to be spoiling the crap out of these games. Which is relevant because the dialogue here is stuff from basically the end of the game. I'm pointing that out for a reason. I'll get there. There is plutonium, but I won't go into it real quick. Before I say anything, thank you very much, Myron. Mr. Red. Screwing up all my names today. For the sub. Very much appreciated. I've already jotted that down for its Hedon, I assume. That is what you want? Savakam, I'm assuming you've never actually seen Final Fantasy VIII. This is a game about child soldiers and war and terror and controlling people and losing your past and all sorts of surprisingly adult topics. It's actually part of where the story really shines for me. If only it was translated properly.
Oh, welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
There is also a basketball scene, which is getting a negative. Let's just go and get that out there. Thank you very much, Helpcraft. Oh! Very much obliged, sir. Thank you for the support. I am happy to be of help, and happy holidays. Now, if you happen to know what you'd like to put that as far as increasing interest or priority in a future stream, let me know, and I'll jot it down. Yeah, anybody who knows this game. So I've actually talked about this before. If you were to chart a course from FF4, that is to say FF2 on the SNES, to FF12, it's a mostly linear line up in terms of quality of localization in English. Because FF4 was terribly translated, and FF5 wasn't translated at all. FF6 was understandable, but still had several scenes that just actively make no sense. FF7 had many scenes that actively make no sense and require interpretation or analysis. FF8 finally got to the point where the dialogue was correctly translated, but not correctly localized. And then FF9 was when they started to localize, and then FF10 ran into the dialogue problem, which I've already pointed out, and FF10-2 substantially improved the dialogue problem, leading to Final Fantasy XII, the first one they ever finally actually properly localized. And Takoda is correct. It's funny to think about this, but most of the older RPGs didn't actually have that much dialogue in them. Not really. Not compared to the newer ones. But anyways, I point this out because 8 managed to get the words right, but they lost a lot of the meaning. They lost a lot of the relevance of tone and significance of presentation. No. 8 was the first one properly translated, Ventures. 12 was the first one properly localized. And I'm making the distinction very different and very clear on purpose. And I know I myself have said in the past that 9 was the first one that was well localized. I was wrong. More than anything else, going through FF9 with a fine-tooth comb and literally going through every line of dialogue in the entire game has really shown me how much FF9's translation, while substantially better than previous games, nevertheless still has quite a few issues. So while FF9 is the first game they localized, it is still not properly localized like FF12 is. Make sense? So, much better job. So so if we were to chart the course again, the translations got better up till 8, the localization started with 9, and then kept going better from 9 up till 12. The GBA FF6 translation is properly localized, as are most of the more modern translations, because then they started actually having a team that actually put real effort and work into it. Go figure. So, I wanted to mention that really quick here for some reason, but I don't remember why. Why did we talk about this? Someone brought this up. Oh, the basketball scene. Right. Because, see, here's the thing. The translation issue, in my opinion, deserves at least one story negative for this game. And the reason why is because I know plenty of people who, and I don't mean this to say elitist, but basically don't understand this game because it's not properly localized. So it's not really their fault. It's not. It's the game's fault, and that's the problem. Because the intent of too much of this story is something you need to interpret or have a lore runner explain to you. I cannot tell you how many times I've had someone leave me a private message or tell me during a stream that they appreciate my FF8 stream specifically because I have added context where otherwise it was lacking. Now, Takoida says the story is terrible. I don't agree. I really don't. I think the plot of FF8 is actually really good. In fact, I would say it's one of the better plots of the FF franchise in general. It is surprisingly tightly crafted and has no real holes in it. Now, I admit I am a little bit biased because it is Type 1 time travel. However, the fact of the matter is, that is harder to write than any other form of time travel. Right? It is much more difficult to write a cohesive loop than it is to just make up stuff on the fly. That's why I like Type 1 time travel. But, yeah, so we run into these issues. Like, for example, a lot of people think Squall is just some emo loner idiot, when in fact Squall is just an introvert who has no idea what he's doing. He's a kid who is struggling with emotions he can't understand because he never got the proper training for it. Because he's a child soldier. Now, that story is there, but it is terribly, terribly localized. So I wouldn't be surprised if most people never even realized that aspect of his character. It wasn't until much later games where he showed up, like in Kingdom Hearts or in Dissidia, where they started to actually kind of focus on it like, hey, maybe it's the fact that he's actually, you know, an introverted idiot rather than, you know, a moron. No, Kai Snow. FF7's is demonstrably worse. I feel like I said that just a few minutes ago. So, anyways, the reason I was getting on all of that is because that intro, that opening, which we just saw, actually spoils quite a few things if you're paying attention, which I have to admit I'm not in favor of that. Like, I don't actually like that particular approach to storytelling. Here's an opening cutscene. It shows scenes from the whole game. Like, the Tales of game does that all the friggin' time. Effectively, yes, Mr. Red. Not the best example, but that is kind of what I'm talking about, yes. Yeah, they did the same thing for FF6 and 5 and 4 when they made CGI intros for them, which we'll be seeing one of those as we go forward. Anyways, so we start off, we can already see the new model, and it's already in stark contrast to the blurry background. I'm not going to read all of this game out loud, by the way, just as a heads up. So we can rename our character. I'm not sure why we would, but we can. Tell that to Cypher. That's Cypher. Won't listen to anyone. Why don't you ignore him? I can't just run away. You want to be cool, huh? Well, don't get hurt in the process. Your instructor is ... for the point where you could rename Quistis. Oh, wait, we changed our mind. We don't actually want to allow you to rename Quistis. So we'll leave the space in there, but instead she'll just randomly forget one of her own students' names. We will be renaming GFs if anybody wants to be a GF. We'll get there when we get there, though. So this is probably one of my favorite moments in the whole game, and I know that's so stupid, but this helps to showcase what I mean about the plot being tightly woven, I suppose. There's just this random woman who shows up. It's like, Squall, so we meet again. And if you're playing this for the first time, this is just a weird scene that makes no sense and is just out of nowhere. With the advantage of hindsight, spoilers. Yeah, so that's our sister. Adopted sister. But yeah, it's just all of a sudden she shows up. It's like, Squall, so we meet again. And Squall's like, who the heck is she? Because memory loss. Which was supposed to be an actual build-up point rather than just out of nowhere. That's why that's getting a negative, by the way. CGI intro for all the characters. Here's the hot teacher. I mean, Quistis. Even though she's like 18 in this game or something, but let's just not get into that. God, their animations. I don't mind realistic body proportions when it comes to an FF. In fact, I kind of prefer them. But it's really obvious they hadn't figured out animating a human body yet in the FFs. Like, I don't want to be too harsh. This is an early PS2 game, but there's so many animations which are just, what? Oh, she's completely out of her depth. Although I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know that. So I did do a little looking into this, by the way. That is a completely different font, which is really strange. So I did a little more looking into this. Did you know FF6, 7, 8, and 9 all have effectively the same font? The original versions. SNES, PS1, PS1, PS1. There are very slight differences between them, and I could compare them side by side if you really want me to be boring. But for the most part, it's effectively the FF6 font was carried forward into 7, 8, and 9. Again, with some slight variances. That is not the FF6, 7, or 8, or 9 font right there. That is a completely new font that they're using for the PC version. And I know complaining about fonts of all things is rather pedantic, but I don't like this font. There are, of course, mods to change it, because of course there are. But we're not playing a modded game, are we? And now we run around like an idiot. Oh, damn it. Run around like an idiot. Woo! Yeah, I was going to say, for a game with no voice acting, fonts are pretty important. I don't even know what the font is they're using. It's really strange. So, I know everyone in the world has pointed this out, including me. But one of the tricks they used in order to try and squeeze more performance out of the game is not everyone there is rendered. It's really, really, really obvious in this version, though. I wouldn't be surprised if there are plenty of people who never noticed this on the PS1 version. Lord knows I didn't. Because all of the other characters used to be rendered like those blocks of pixels. And, you know, I'm playing on a little crappy TV, as I've mentioned several times. But, it's really stark in this version, where it's just, there's blur person, then there's a real person. So anyways, field exam for seed candidates. It is actually legitimately clever. It's just, the only reason it's an issue is because they upscaled the models on more modern ports of this. So there's Cypher. Oh, I have to talk about his coat, otherwise this is a terrible lore run. Neither, to Big O. And notice how they just despawned the pre-rendered ones for that. Oh yeah, I should mention, the controls are wonky in this, because unlike 7, which was mostly done on fairly static planes, they wanted to experiment with the camera in FF8. So a lot of the camera angles are not linearly across what you'd call the 8-axis. To explain what I mean by that, imagine for a moment you're looking at a particular shot, and you can only move in 8 directions. So that 8-axis has to be painted onto that surface in some manner or another, so the game knows where to push you depending on when you hit the control, right? And yeah, it's kind of the Resident Evil problem, because this is holding up right now, to use an example of this, and this is going to change all freaking over the place. And like I said, they were experimenting with the camera, but they hadn't figured out how to interpret the input yet. So it gets really awkward getting around in some particular scenes in this game. The worst part is when you go into space, but we'll get there later. You haven't been to the fire cavern yet. You won't be able to take part of your exam if you don't pass the prerequisite. I was going to go with this morning, but Cypher. Huh? Do you have a good excuse? Not really. Well, let's go going. If you're not too confident yet, you can review their study panel. I'll be waiting at the front gate. You can access the study panel from your seat. Now let's go examine the study panel then. If I can interact with it. There we go. So, hands up, how many of you have never actually gone to this computer to look at it? I obviously cannot raise my hand on this. There won't be an updates for all because I, Garden Festival Chair, will be leaving Garden. I do not strive to be a seed, and I won't even graduate. I devoted all my time to the Garden Festival, my passion. But in the end, there was no Garden Festival because no one volunteered to help out. But I have only myself to blame. I thought I could pull it off. I'll be starting a new life, but I sincerely hope someone will take over the Garden Festival committee. Goodbye, Balamb Garden, Wimbley Donner. There's the actual tutorial. So, here's Quetzalcoatl. Would anyone like to be Quetzalcoatl? Say me. Looks like Cobrat. That's apropos. Would anyone like to be Shiva? Looks like that one's going to be Huanta. Okay. So, you know, tutorial. God, I haven't read this in forever. So this is how the magic stuff works. Okay, so they do tell you about magic. That's neat. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ah. The cards originated when a psychic named Orlin modified tarot cards for games. Blatantly FFT drawing there. The game became popular with soldiers passing time between battles. As its popularity spread, each region developed its own rules and picture variations. So here's how they explain Triple Triad. Sorry, I can always never think of the name of the damn thing. Triple Triad's awesome, and we'll probably get a plus. Especially given how incredibly optional it is. However, it might also get a negative. We'll see. So there's stat icons, which is useful if you don't know what you're looking at. Oh, I hate Tetramaster. Ugh. So here's like just a glossary, basically. There's something specific I'm looking for, forgive me. So, it doesn't say anything about the enemies leveling up with you, which is what I was looking for. That's a negative to gameplay right there. Not the leveling scaling itself, which might be a separate negative, but the fact that they don't inform you of it in-game. Because it is exceptionally easy to screw yourself over by leveling, like you would in any other RPG. How many of you guys leveled in this game without knowing, and basically screwed yourself over without knowing? Yep, no, I was gonna say, there's a specific boss, it's the zombie boss in the train, that I got to my very first time, and I was like, oh man, he's causing me some issues, holy crap. So I went back, loaded a previous save, leveled for a while, went back, and he kicked my ass, and I was like, the hell am I doing wrong? And that's when I found out, and I looked into it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. Magic, used by ordinary people, is actually paramagic. In essence, it is a technique which involves controlling energy. Paramagic was developed by Dr. Odin. He was the first scientist to research the nature of magic by studying a sorceress. Thanks, Odin. This skill can be gained through proper training. However, with magic, it's difficult to achieve power levels that are comparable to conventional weapons. A Guardian Force is an independent energy force. By combining it with paramagic, it is possible to control tremendous energy. Memory loss is a possible side effect, but this has not been proven as of yet. God. Right there in the tutorial. Right there in the first playable screen of the game. Or third screen of the game, if you want to count all of them. A woman who has inherited the power of a sorceress. The origins of the sorceresses go back to ancient times during Hein's reign. However, there is no factual evidence. Food, weapons, and magic are prohibited. Aww. There are real monsters in the training center, open 24 hours. Do not engage in battles beyond your ability. If you see a T-Rex, run! Visit the infirmary if you have... Dr. Katawaski. 9 a.m. to lights out. All materials are open to the public. You may check out materials at the desk. Everybody's welcome to apply. Seats have priority for single rooms. Going out after hours for reasons other than training are prohibited. Do not leave personal possessions in common areas. I kind of like that. The idea that seeds get priority for living alone, basically just to kind of emphasize the prestige of the class, or however you want to think of that. If late night meals are required, order them beforehand. Student roles. Work hard, study hard, play hard. No dress code. However, dress accordingly. Yeah, tell me about it, there's no dress code. No, sorry. Students who engage in violent acts, sexual promiscuity, or fall behind in their curriculum may be expelled from the garden. How do you define sexual promiscuity in a college? A both gender college. There's a term for that, I can't remember it. Oh, I already looked it up. I guess it's defined as getting caught. Skills acquired in Garden must never be used for personal gain. Refrain from getting acts that damage the Garden's reputation. Take time to think things through before starting a relationship. Well, Squall didn't do that one. Applicants between ages 5 and 15 are admitted. You know, I joke about this, but it's worth noting that this is a story about child soldiers, which is just as horrible as it sounds. They take 5-year-olds to train here to become professional mercenaries. Really process that. Think about that for a second. All hardworking and confident youths are welcome. Ambitious overachievers welcome. Applicants are admitted only after passing final interview. You can only graduate when you're between 15 and 19. One must have all the required skills and knowledge. One must have the headmaster's approval. At age 20, regardless of graduation, students are released from the garden. Too old! Garden supports a program that helps students enlist in armies all over the world. Instructors in Seed are permitted to stay at the garden. However, seedship must be obtained before the age of 20. Balamb Garden, run by Sid Kramer, proprietor Master Norg. Balamb Garden was the first headmaster built in accordance with Headmaster Sid's ideals and dreams. Trabia Garden. There's an exchange program there. Galbadia Garden is the largest of the three. Their master Martine, who is a Verindi, is also the head. Has also set up a program to recruit Balamb graduates into Galbadian's army. I wonder if that's a typo, like a mistranslation, because it would make more sense if he was recruiting Galbadian graduates into the Galbadian army. But no, apparently they're recruiting Balamb graduates into the Galbadian army. Seed. What is seed? Well, we added the second D capitalized just to make it look weird, because we're strange. Commanding Guardian forces, they have special fighting abilities, work in small teams, and operate all over the world. Seeds are deployed all over the world. Their services are requested by government and even civilians. Their tasks range from providing military support to protecting civies. Students can apply after the age of 15 to become Seed. Passing the written test and completion of an official mission are required to become Seed. Seeds are paid according to rank. Curse all seeds. A message from the garden. Spring Memorial Service. Yeah, how many people have died here? It's one word, not two, Shadowlink. Ah! Competition for the hot dogs in meals is really getting out of hand. We are doing our best to provide everyone with enough food, and we never explain how we get food after the ship takes off. So please be patient and conduct yourselves in an orderly fashion. Thank you. As you well know, magic and weapons are prohibited inside the cafeteria. Your opinions are important to make this garden a better place. Write them down and drop in the bot box. I got first. Trapees forever, baby. Man, I want to go out with her. Hey, Groupie 1, you got a name, dumbass? I'm gonna kick your ass. What's your name? Oh, I'm so scared, big loser. I should kick both your asses. There's enough of your silly games, got it? I don't want the disciplinary committee to get on my case, so I'm not writing my name. Who's JL? Who are you? See, they're so nosy. Good thing I went with my initials. By the way, Almacy is Cypher, if you didn't catch that. I'll go with initials, too. This is Zell. Hey, does anyone know if the new hot dogs are good? I haven't tried them yet. MS. Oh, yeah, they're the best! Man, you're missing out. Damn, I missed again. Hey, ZD, you have your exam today, right? Good luck, man. ZD, I hope you do well on your exam. Be careful. And I actually missed a couple here. Follow all disciplinary committee rules. This applies to junior classmen, too. Do not bring animals inside the garden. Report seeing any unusual bugs in the garden. Do not litter. Really doesn't like me just backing out there, does it? The following materials are overdue. Please return them immediately. The Insect Guidebook, Color Edition, Raijin. Goodbye, Pooperoon, Raijin. The following requested materials have arrived. Edible Flowers, Turbine Engines, Revised Edition. We Meet Again, Pooperoon, and of course, The Sorceress's Night, Scenario Edition. So, Cypher plays D&D. Oh yeah, now I can access the cheats and boots, but actually what I want to do is rebind. There we go. Although, just to show it off, here's our options. All items, all abilities, all GFs max level, max skill, max magic, all limit breaks, all cards. And, so this is the stuff that's in the console version, these three. No encounters, triple speed, and battle assist, which restores your HP and ATB gauge, apparently, I don't know about that one, to full, and makes your limit break always off on. Probably because I haven't drawn anything yet, Venters. But it gives you 100 of like a bunch of magics, is what the all magic thing does. So, no, don't exit the game, exit the menu. God, game, really? There we go. So, plus to gameplay. Good cheat options. We've had this discussion back in FF10. It depends on how good they are. That's really what it boils down to. I think this is a pretty good spread. Alright, everyone kill Zalok. Stab. Alright, Zalok's dead. We're good. Max items is all you need, but it's not about need. You don't need any cheats in this game. Although, I am, I'd say about 99% likely to go ahead and cheat in this game. We'll see. This is a good example of what I meant by the axis problem. Here, let me just go down this slightly curved corridor. Okay. No, Hi, Selfie. You okay, Selfie? There. Tee-hee, I'm fine. Why would that make you weird, Arm Devil? Yes, homeroom is over. This place is so much bigger than my last garden, which is funny because it's actually pretty small. Yeah, sure, I'll give you a ting. Why not? To kind of show off, you know, where you can go in this place. Yeah, I have cards. Woo. Oh, I'm sure, Lex. I mean, I wish I was cheating right from the beginning, Savicon, but that's just me. I've already made the determinant that I will never enjoy this game without cheats again, and I stand by it. But this is a review, so we're going to try and push the envelope as far as we can. How do you use this? Oh, you just move the cursor in place, hey. Obviously. There's the dorms. There aren't many students who commute. Oh yeah, actually, hang on. God, how do people do this? There we go. We're good. West of North Block is the cafeteria. Always a big rush for the hot dogs, but I get used to waiting in line. East of the North Block's the parking lot. We should take the garden car when a mission comes up. Yeah, cars are in this game. The front gate is located to the south. That's right, I have to meet Instructor Trape in the front gate. Ah, nothing. Sorry. Next we have the quad, located in the West Block. There's an event being planned there. I know, it's the Garden Festival. It's going to be great. I'm planning to be on the committee. You want to help out too? Let's just continue. South is the infirmary. That's where you get treated. But a lot of students just come here for advice. Dr. Katawaki, whatever. Dr. Face. A lot of material, but you can do this. And you already know about the classroom. Headmaster's office is on floor 3. Headmaster Sid. They're hot dogs, Savicom. What would you rather have? Grits or hot dogs? Grits. Hot dogs. Oh yeah, there's like no autosave at all, so I need to be doing the manual save thing. Oh, there is an autosave. Holy crap, never mind, ignore me. There wasn't earlier, or rather, I hadn't gotten to a point where it triggered yet. Poor Shadow. Doesn't know what grits are. Poor, sad, deluded Shadow. You play the PC version, Arm Devil. These cheats are exclusive to the PC version. Although, while we're here, so this is a draw point. Oh, I don't have draw because I don't have a... Hang on, let's junction. So, okay. As I've mentioned before, there are quite a few Final Fantasies that have an in-lore explanation for how powerful you are. Basically starting with 5. Sorry, 3. That's when they really started that. So, you're kind of crap in FF8 unless you junction, which is in lore. Because, you know, duh. I'll probably do this, actually. So you literally can't even draw Paramagic unless you have a junction equipped. We'll go and draw this. I actually still have that written down, Arm Devil, because you donated for it, so... Not that I should admit that if you pay money you can lock in a name, but that is what you did, so there we are. So these guys, what do we got here? What are we learning? I suppose I should talk about this. So this is kind of the junctioning system in a nutshell. I'm going to go ahead and admit that this is probably going to be a positive, even though I do think it could be implemented substantially better. So the idea is, every specific Guardian Force has a bunch of things they can learn, with a maximum cap on how much they can learn, because you can later use items to get them to learn things that aren't in their innate leveling path, if you will. There's just basic commands, magic, item. You can't even use items unless you have a Guardian Force equipped, which is really stupid, but whatever, let's move past that. Being able to use the card command, or increasing your magic, or increasing your summon magic, or increasing your Guardian's HP, or unlocking boost, which is actually what we're going to get, or being able to refine magic from an item, all of that is GF stuff that you have to learn. There's also junctions. So, the ability to junction, what it allows you to do is to junction magic to a stat. So, you know, being able to junction Cure, for example, which junctions really well with HP, is something you can do. I think you're right. There's an actual number. Yep, 22. I'm right. So it is, in fact, 2 full pages. Junctioning magic to stats is one of the better aspects of the game. However, it also basically makes it so that if you know what to junction with what, that's all you really need. Let's see. There's something you can get really early on. I think it's double. I think you can draw double right at the beginning of the game, and double junctions extremely well. To my knowledge, nothing in the game actually tells you what junctions well... Oh, it's triple, excuse me. Nothing actually tells you what junctions well with what. Which is not great. I could be wrong about that. Please ignore me if I am wrong. I remember using walkthroughs and strategy guides to figure out what to junction to what. That's how I know things like Cure and Double and Haste and blah, blah, blah. Now, let's see. There's the refinement thing, which allows you to... So what that allows you to do is to take an item and refine magic out of it, rather than going and drawing magic. I'm going to go ahead and say this, because a lot of people say one of the worst parts about this game is drawing, and they're right. But drawing is incredibly optional, and in fact, if you're drawing, you're probably doing it wrong, because refining items into magic is almost always going to be a much better system than actually going and hitting draw over and over and over and over again. I actually had a physical strategy guide for this one. So we're going to go get boost on both, just so we have something to do with that. Although, actually, no, I should probably start thinking long-term, so let's go ahead and start working on that. Every junction has their own things, all their own things they can refine. One of them allows you to open a shop anywhere. One of them allows you to refine magic into better magic. Blah, 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 blah. So I already mentioned the junctioning. I actually can't junction anything specifically right now. Oh, maybe I can, actually. I can, never mind. So I can junction magic or spirit. And that's it. However, I do have Cure to junction, so for example, I could do that, or unjunction it, or junction it there, unjunction it. You'll notice it's not actually doing anything. The reason why is because this is probably, in my opinion, one of the bigger flaws of the magic system in this game. It's actually 2 flaws kind of wrapped into one. So magic is ammo. As in, I have 4 cures on me. I don't have cure quality 4. I don't have cure 4. I have 4 cures. Make sense? Which is pretty unlike just about any other RPG I can think of off the top of my head, except for a few games that aren't actually RPGs. Now, that's a problem because the only time it's really worth junctioning is when you have the max, which is 100. You have to have 100 for it to really be worthwhile for junctioning. That also means if you then use the spell that you are junctioning, the junctioned effect does in fact go down. Because now you have 99 of whatever, right? And the difference between 100 and 99 is not insubstantial. So, in my opinion, the game actually de-emphasizes using magic because magic is substantially more useful when used junctioning. Now, there are still a few spells that are worth using. Triple comes to mind immediately. And, I can't remember the other one. There's like 2 spells that I use in this game. But both of them junction well, so that's just kind of a, sort of a situation. So that's kind of a flaw, and it's Aura. That is the other one, thank you. Aura and Triple are the 2 spells that I actually tend to use in this game, or at least want to use. Both of those also junction pretty well, although not as well as some other things. Oh yeah, Meltdown. That's actually a third. I didn't even think about that, but you're right, Meltdown. Either way, the long and the short of this is that you don't want to cast spells, especially since getting access to quantities, that is to say, ammunition of certain spells, is a massive pain in the arse. You ever have that problem where you don't want to use an ether because you might need it for the next boss? Yeah, imagine that problem, but you can't get another ether. Or in order to get another ether, you have to go through some rigmarole to get it. Right? Like, because some of this stuff, especially if you're playing a normal playthrough, you'll be like, I'm going to turn this card into these magic things. Well, you don't have a second one of those cards. In fact, there are actually several cards in this game that are completely unique. As in, you'll never get another one. You can also junction up for specific stats if you want to focus on them, which is a nice way to try and figure out what's useful for what. What else can I show off right off the bat? I think that's actually it. So, yeah, I know you're all going to hate me, and that's your privilege. But I'm going to give a gameplay positive. God, it mutes only the sound effects when I alt-tab. That's really weird. I'm going to give a gameplay positive, a gameplay negative, and a gameplay negative. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to give another gameplay positive. Not a 6, a positive. There we go. I mean, that's up to you, Aethel. I just don't agree. Like, I'm sorry, I've heard so many people defend this game, and every defense boils down to the same defense. Use a walkthrough. Almost every defense of this game is use a walkthrough. Biggest waste of time in an FF game? I don't know. 100%ing FF10's Sphere Grid. Because, I mean, you're right. See, that's the thing. FF8, a lot of FFs in this era are going to have this problem. FF8 is a game that is substantially improved by the inclusion of a walkthrough. If you know what you're doing, there are multiple ways to not just break this game, but make the game overall more enjoyable. Like, even if you don't want to be super ridiculously powerful, and you just want to have this junction to this, and you want this Guardian Force here, and you want to know how to get this, and blah, blah, blah. If you know what you're doing, right? We're going to have a long discussion about that without when we get to FF5, though. You're not that bizarre, Aethel. Oh, for God's sakes. Sorry, I'm just getting spammed with emails right now. Go away. I would actually agree with that Platinum Pineapple. Hang on, I need to get caught up here because I'm still typing out the positives and negatives I just gave out. I don't even remember how many I gave out. Looks like 3? Yep, okay. No, we're not getting copy wrong spammed. I have not, Aethel, and I never will. But anyways, it's neither for me, Aethel. Unless, I mean, we'll decide, because there's a bunch more. Like when we land on Galbadia Garden later, for example. You can't tell, Aethel? Like, really? The former, Shadowlink. Hang on. Hang on. Now we gotta... Now, I was in the middle of typing, but now we gotta stop. Because now you have to understand. Let's see if I can find it here. This is Balamb Garden in the PC version. If you remember, we actually, when we did the lore run, the version I'm playing right now didn't exist, so we modded the hell out of the game to fix several things, including the soundtrack. That's why I looked at you weird, Aethel, like, you can't tell? I mean, I'm not trying to make fun, I apologize, but the difference is so stark. Like, it's not even good MIDI. That is night and day. Anyways, what was the other negative I was going to give? I actually don't remember. So, the positive is for the junction system, and the other positive is for the GF customization as a form of horizontal leveling. Both of those, I think, are good stuff, legitimately. A negative was for the junction system. And I had another negative that I was going to give, and I don't remember what it is. No, it's just quiet, Blue of Alex. It's just not well-designed MIDI. Drawing? I mean, the draw system does suck. Even though it's optional. And I already gave the level scaling thing. Well, the unrelated fact, the level scaling thing. It literally does suck. Anyways, No, that was the junction negative. Is what it does to magic. I mean, the walkthroughitis negative is probably justified. I think I was actually thinking of the draw one. I hadn't decided yet, but anyways, let's just do the walkthroughitis one. And I want to explain this one because I've given several walkthroughitis as negatives for several DFFs. I think it is the worst in 8 of the entire franchise, up to 12. Because, and this is just my opinion, but because 12 is designed in a way that is non-standard, to put it simplistically. Now that's good if they properly explained and allowed you to understand exactly how you're supposed to do that. As I said before, and I stand behind this, if you have a walkthrough, 8's actually pretty neat from a gameplay perspective. You have multiple paths of progression that you can use in this game, and multiple of those are interesting or fun or, things that are cool. The problem is you need to have that strategy guide sitting right there on the desk, or simply know the game, or have played through the game and sucked and then needed to do it again and blah, 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 right? Like there's it, and it's not optional content like it was in some of the previous FFs we've reviewed. It is pretty much the structure of how the game is designed leads to the walkthroughitis here. Yeah, which materials you need to level a weapon is a good example of this. Or the nature of how the weapon upgrades work at all, and what they actually do for you. Yeah, Tales of has this problem too, that's true. To get all the little skits, or whatever they call them, especially. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's actually start playing the damn game. Squall's just like, why am I still sitting here? Oh, let me turn this off here. Because we're capturing this in a weird way, so it's getting a little jittery. As much as I love 15 frame rate. Oh god, that is super jittery. Stop being jittery. Stop being jittery. That wasn't a mechanical keyboard. If that makes me feel any better. Oh my god, what is up with the jitter here? Is that just the game? This might actually be the game. No, there we go, we fixed it. Okay, that's better. I have a few things to explain before we head off. A mandatory tutorial! Funnily enough, I'm already junctioned. This is the weird thing, though. As with some of the... Oh, that's weird! So the cancel button didn't do anything. The menu button did, though. Like, I was mashing B at first, to cancel out, and nothing was happening. And then it's like... And then Blue Wolf said cancel button. So just to show my frustration, I started mashing all the buttons. And that one bowed out. No, the rebinding doesn't change what the key is. It just changes which button it is. So cancel is still this button. Wow, that was a quick transition. Holy crap. That was like disturbingly fast. Look at that. That's just weird. Skippable tutorials. So, okay. What I was going to say was it's funny to me because there's that walkthroughitis thing. This game does have a bit of a tutorial problem. Very, very minor. Certainly not negative worthy. But it's doubly amusing because, like, of the walkthroughitis problem. Damn it, other lore! So, okay, I can't rename a main character to Moga. Because you can only rename one character in this one. But we can rename Guardian Forces. The summons. I don't know if you've played 8. I know, right, Lex? It's just bizarre. Best PS1 overworld? Probably 9s on. We could rename Renoa. That's right. We could rename Renoa to Moga. What do you think? That amuses me far too much. Squall and Moga, my love. Oh, this reminds me of a story about the great Dr. Phlox and his love for a young man. Or we could rename the dog, which we... No. We need to name the dog Porthos. Come on. If we're doing that, we have to name the dog Porthos. Moga using the Porthos cannon. I mean, come on, that just fits. Merry Christmas, and thank you very much, Other Lore. Very much obliged, sir. The Xehanort cannon. Enjoy the holidays, Other Lore. So hang on. So we're gonna rename Renoa to... I can spell Moga, and then Renoa's dog to... I know, the textures are so terrible on the overworld. I'm not, that's not a ding, by the way. Texture quality is a technological problem. It is a limitation of the times, and as I said many times before, literal hardware problems are not something I give negative for. It's design stuff. So, like, if the layout was bad, or if the design was bad, sure, but this is just a texture problem. But God, it looks terrible. Look at it. You can literally see the grid. You can literally see the grid. Oh my God. That's so awful. Anyways. Was 7 gonna look this bad? I know 9 doesn't look this bad. There's that autosave. Oh. I mean, yeah, the remaster should have touched this stuff up. It's not like there aren't mods to do this. Yeah, this is the HD remaster. You can tell because his model is touched up. Look at that forest! Look at the forest! Oh my God! Yeah, it is the menu button. What do you know? Yeah, sure. How to use the Gunblade. All of a sudden I have Ifrit in my party. There are 2 settings. Renzazuken. If you select Gunblade Auto to on, Renzazuken hits automatically without having to press R. However, a perfect may not be possible. You must select off. But that's only for his limit break. It doesn't do it for his normal attack, which I suck at, by the way. I'm gonna go admit that. Alright, whatever. Cancel out. Oh, excuse me. Should I junction her? I guess I should actually probably junction her. Yeah, I don't think this is a good limit break system, personally. It's not terrible, it's not as bad as 9s or 6s, but I would say this is kind of at the low end of quality when it comes to the limit breaks of the series. Yeah, Aura does help, I agree. But the biggest problem, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the biggest problem with the limit break system is how easy it is to abuse it. Because even if you're playing normally without a walkthrough, without a guide, without ever having played the game before, it's actually pretty feasible that you will accidentally your way into figuring out how to break the limit break system. I should know. I did that. Like, bling, bling, bling. Oh! It came up, but I didn't change anything. Pause. Reselect, reselect, reselect. Oh! Huh. I guess my point is I'm fine with limit breaks being regularly available. I love the overdrive system over in 10, after all. But I would kind of rather that they just made it a menu option or like an MP costing solution or something, rather than reselect, 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 go, reselect, reselect, go. Anyways. My point is, it is extremely clear that this is basically something they didn't think through. I don't think they intended you to have the ability to just switch in a limit break at will, basically. You know, oversight of design kind of a problem. Limiting you to one limit per battle? Per character per battle. I could see that. That way it would basically be like a summon from FF6, to use a parallel. Or maybe make it, I mean, I don't know, like a build spend kind of a thing? Something like that. Boys often choke on the test when I come with him. 'Cause I'm super hot! Or, I mean... She's 18, I can say that. I actually don't think she's attractive, but I know a lot of people who do. So I was about to wonder if I had accidentally turned on no encounters. But no. Run! They're too much for us. Draw while you're doing it, though. I mean, it is pretty hot right now. Not Quistis, just the general part. I do like this song. I like a lot of this game's music. Oh yeah, plus to gameplay, music. Can we just get that out of the way? I'm gonna be real with you guys. 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all probably going to get multiple pluses for music. Of all the complaints I have about 8, music is not on that list, with a couple of exceptions. So yeah, we're just gonna add a generic music plus. It's also a decent fight song. You know, this one. It's a bomb, an elemental monster. Use an ice attack, but I don't have ice. I don't have skin either. No. Okay, let's draw for a few minutes. So, I mentioned before that 10-2 was the logical progression of the ATB system from 8, and I stand by that. Yeah, I got the timing. Holy crap. Anyways, run! Well, I have given the junction system a positive and a negative, which probably answers you end. How I would change the junction system? Well, that's a much more complex answer. I'm going to pause really quick, because I want to talk about the combat thing before I talk about the junction system. The combat of this game is surprisingly snappy. It was the first FF that allowed you to still be in the middle of action taking while selecting new options in the ATB system. And there was a degree of smoothness to it when it comes to the nature and style of it. It's hard to explain properly, but one of the things I've always enjoyed is how quick and fluid FF8's combat is. It's not at the level of 10-2, but like I said, it's clearly leaning in that direction. It was certainly a step up from 7s and 6s and 5s and 4s. I love that. You and Cypher in a class of your own. We've been running from every battle. What do these have again? Nothing. Yeah, and then FF9 suddenly went slog. You and Cypher in a class of your own. You both have amazing strength and potential. Yeah, well. Hey, Samurai Jack. Okay, this is it. You ready? You seem confident enough. I'm in for it. So, probably one of the only things I do like about the draw system is that you can draw and then cast from the draw directly. It's kind of cool. Yeah, the lower you pick the timer and then succeed, I suppose I should actually talk about this real quick. The lower you pick the timer and succeed, the higher your seed ranking. The higher your seed ranking, the more money you get. Money is not super useful in this game, so that's not really a big deal. Now you notice summons take time to summon. While you are summoning, your HP value changes to the HP value of the summon. So any damage you take while you are channeling the summon actually goes to the GF instead of you. I actually think that's a pretty good idea. It helps to add a little bit of risk-reward to summoning GFs in general. The problem is, GFs are really useful in this game. Which leads me to my next possible complaint about this game. There's no fast version of these. FF9 was the first game to add a fast version of summons. So you have to see every summon animation every time you use them. And these cannot be skipped or sped up in any way. Now, that by itself is irritating, but there's also the fact that summons are really, really useful. So you are inclined to use them semi-frequently. Yeah, I don't have boost right now, but... Hey, Wanta. Also, best-looking Shiva, just saying. They have Wanta? I'm debating it, Zilog. That was actually a misclick. Eden is the longest summon by far. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to bother getting it or not. I mean, I guess I could get Eden in Ultimatia's Castle if nothing else. But yeah, that's the point. Again, this goes back to the walkthrough problem. If you know what you're doing, summons are only useful for a couple of specific things. If you don't, summons are some of the most powerful things you can do in the game. And you kind of have a tendency to do them. Most people I know actually lean on summons heavily when it comes to this game. In fact, so I mentioned that strategy guide. The strategy guide actually specifically notated that your strategy early game is to be leaning on GFs for every single fight. Until you get to about mid-game, then you'll be able to boost your stats with Acune or spells, then until you get to late game, and then you'll be leaning on GFs every single fight again. That was in an official strategy guide. Granted, it was Prima, and Prima sucks. But it gets across my point, that in a normal playthrough, you're probably going to be leaning on the summons a lot. That's a really minor thing, but to help emphasize what I meant about the smoothness of combat, you'll notice that as soon as the attack finishes, not the animation finishes, that's when you can start your next act. Notice we didn't get any experience from the boss, by the way. Another thing for the low-level playthrough. So, who wants to be Ifrit? That would be Geludo. For the record, I actually like a lot of the summon animations in this game. Legit. That's not my problem with them. Let's see. I want him to learn... I don't know what I want him to learn, actually. He gets an ability that I tend to lean on a lot, but I don't think I'm going to do that this playthrough. I forget what it's called, but it's like Auto Haste Berserk, something like that, for the entire party. It's like the Warrior's ability in FF10, too. There's a lot of parallels between those two. Let's go get that for now. Of course, we do need a junction. That's duh. No, Salok. There is such a thing as getting tired of something. Most overkill summon in FF. Eden. Which is from this game. So I never really answered what I do with the junction system, but that requires explaining what I do with the combat system. So... First and foremost... Ooh, blizzards. First and foremost, I would make there be positioning, like actual positioning, that you could control to an extent. Kind of what I want with 10.2. That's important because I would also make range matter, both for the enemies and for certain AoE spells, and for your own characters. You know, some characters could attack at short range, Zell. Some characters can attack at medium range, Quistis. Some characters can attack at long range, Irvine. Drawing in battle, the way I would do it is if you draw in battle, you basically... So I would leave the draw command in battle, but it wouldn't work the same at all. There would be no ammo of magic you're pulling up. Rather, each enemy would have certain specific things that you get from that enemy that you can then junction on the fly, right there in the combat. However, those specific junctions would only last for that combat round. What I mean by that is as soon as you leave combat and the victory screen goes up, then you would lose the junction. Makes sense? So it would be kind of a temporary enchantment or buff system rather than the current junction system we have going on here. God, let me zoom the camera out. Jeez. There we go. Well done. Yeah, don't know if I'd agree with that, but you know. Take care of your GF. Nope. Change into your uniform. Okay. One of the other things I do is I would substantially reduce the number of trash encounters in this game, possibly even remove them entirely, and go either to a completely manually crafted encounter system, or substantially increase the overall quality of each boss that you encounter, because there's actually a decent number of bosses in this game, so, you know, a lot to work with there. I'd also make the combat more rewarding for fairly obvious reasons. Yes, that was Solid Snake. Excuse me, Pilskin. Just kind of hanging out there. Doing what he's got to do. That is kind of the idea a regular hunter of. Although I'll probably not succeed at it. I actually forget my record for lowest level in this game. I think it's 14. Is this it? God, I can't read the sign. It's too blurry. Nope, that's not it. I do appreciate the inclusion of NPCs roaming around. It's not to the level of FF9, but it is a nice little touch to help the place feel a little more lived out. They do that periodically throughout the towns of the game. Can I have some hot dogs, please? No! They have no hot dogs! I'm sure he's fine. Oh my god, Cashel, really? Oh my god, these controls. I was actually thinking the same thing, Savacom. And I don't have hot dogs. But I could get hot dogs. And then I could cook them. And eat them! With sugar. No, seriously, one of the things I used to do... I say used to. One of the things I have done is you get a hot dog, slice them down the middle, and then lay them flat so the flat part is down on the grill. And then you put just a little bit of a coating of maple sugar on it. And then you cook them, and the maple sugar kind of bakes into the hot dog. I admittedly got the trick from bacon, believe it or not. Has to be an open grill, though. You don't want it to cook in its own fat. That's just gross. I needed to change uniforms, didn't I? We do have a lot of useless meat on campus, that is true. I wonder if I can just... Oh, hey, so that's that button. Ah, there's the speed up button. Oh, God, okay. There's the no encounters button. Have you never tried them, Sinister Wing? Oh, yeah. Best looking guy in school. Or, I mean... Hi, Cody. Oh, God, I'm already getting addicted to the triple speed. I need to not get addicted to it. Just like I did at 12. I'll be announcing the squad assignments. Let's see. You'll be with Zell Dinched. Dinched? I don't know. God, that smile is creepy looking. Ignoring that creepy smile, though. How many of you dislike Zell? Real question. As a character, not gameplay-wise. Because I know he is by far the easiest break to come up with in this game. Why doesn't anyone ever shake his hand? They gave him a special animation for how much nobody shakes his frickin' hand. What's funny is they gave him an animation for starting the shake. And then they gave it an animation for being denied on the shake. And there's always this pause in between the two. It always looks like... Anyways. Cypher's just being a pain in the ass. All you gotta do is ignore him. It's none of your business. Excuse me, but, that Cypher is your squad leader. You don't find Zell attractive with that grin he had going on? So there's Cypher, the White Knight, in contrast to our, you know... Okay. I didn't actually talk about this during the lore run, because, whatever. Cypher, visually, I want you to think purely visually, but this also affects their character. Cypher is in many ways the opposite of Squall, and I don't just mean the black and white thing. In fact, I don't even primarily mean that. Cypher has a big, fanciful trench coat and the cross chest thing and the knight's symbol on his sleeve and all that. And he's really romantic. He's really into the fantasy of things, right? Like he looks like an 80s anime protagonist. Squall looks like a guy with a leather jacket and pants. Thus, Squall is such a mundane character in total contrast to the far more fantastical Cypher. And that's also indicative of their characters. Squall is very pragmatic. He is very down-to-earth, and he's always thinking about how to functionally do things. Practicality. Cypher is an idiot who is fancifully thinking about how everything's going to be so romantic and amazing and awesome, and oh man, I'm going to be the sorceress's knight, and I'm going to be a hero, and it's going to be phenomenal. Thus, it is of course logical that Cypher would be so easy to manipulate. Instructor, I hate it when people wish me luck. Save those words for a bad student that needs them, eh? Okay, then. Good luck, Cypher. What is with that animation? And of course, here's one of our oldest memes. The list! Which we never followed through on ever, by the way. So don't ask me what it is, because... Yeah, no kidding, Cashel. I finally become a knight! No, you've become a lapdog. So here's this game's Sid. Okay. So, one of the things that I appreciate about this game is its desire to make things more grounded and ordinary with fantastical elements. The problem is that it doesn't really manage that. Like, it was an attempt at doing it that basically failed, in my opinion, obviously. Sid is probably the biggest example of this. He's got a, look at him. He's even got a tie clip, tie, t-shirt, vest, very ordinary. He looks like a banker, exactly. And that's kind of the point, isn't it? That is the actual thing they were going for. The problem is this is also the game with the giant pimple on the moon and the compression of time, which kind of destroys that whole aesthetic basically by the latter half of the game. Never mind the parade in Galbadia. In short, I think they should have committed to this more and spent a little more time designing it. Oh, dude, he would totally fit in Arcanum, or Arcanum. Yeah, the Lunar Cry is terrible. I hate the Lunar Cry. It is gross. You'll be accompanied by 9 Seed. Should you fail, they will get the job done. They always do. That's one less worry on your mind. The Pride of Balamb Garden, the elite mercenary force, Seed. Learn from them, obey their commands, accomplish the mission. Prove yourself worthy of becoming a member of Seed. Let me repeat my animation here. Good afternoon, Maquette. Best of luck. No, Venters. Seeds in a garden. That's all it means. I don't know why they capitalized the D. Probably deliberate, Cashel, if we're being honest. And it probably says something that the mundane wins in the end, if you're paying attention. So there's our car. Ironically, the cars back in 7 looked more mundane than this, despite the aesthetic thing I just mentioned. Yo, show me your Gunblade, will you? Come on, man, show me your Gunblade. Sorry, I make fun. I don't mind Zell. I kind of like him. Took a while for him to grow on me, but I do kind of like him. Why are you being so selfish, Scrooge? I do think they hit the he's a child character point a little bit too hard in the intro. Oh, that's true. Zell is being too promiscuous. See? This is just straight up flirting right here. Oh yeah, I actually was going to talk about the Gunblade earlier. It's apparently really hard to use a Gunblade, which is why so few people use it. That's actually in lore. But it doesn't actually shoot, which is kind of dumb, but let's not get into that. It also looks incredibly irritating to wield, if you think about it. Like, you're holding it like this, and then the sword comes out like this, so you're kind of pointing wherever you're going. If you've ever done any kind of sword fighting at all, you would understand how much this is contrary to the kind of wrist movements you're going to be wanting when you're doing a sword fight. It's really only useful for straight cuts, which is funny, because that's pretty much all Squall does. Who was the girl in the infirmary this morning? Was there someone there? I didn't notice anybody. So there's probably the hint that she was totally, you know, the red herring, basically. She was totally an illusion or whatever. Wee. Up, can't drive through the woods. God, this overworld. Oh my god, look at it. Sorry, I'll shut up about it someday. This does not look like a drivable street. So that's the vessel. Ain't no turning back now. You scared too? Hey, you guys are last. Don't disappoint me now. I could see that Sovicom. Although, if Cypher was going to hit on my sister, I'd probably rip his arms off and beat him to death with them. These are the members of Squad B. Hey, it's Zoo, I think. Can I just say I hate that salute? I'm sorry, there's just something feels really impractical about the... They pull their arms really far in and then they do this. This just looks really impractical for a salute to me. I don't know. It's always bugged me. I'll explain the current situation and the mission. Mission briefing. Our client for this mission is Dalit Dukedom Parliament. A request for seed was made 18 hours ago. I'm not going to talk about this extensively like I did during the lore run, but all I'm going to say is there's actually a lot going on here, which is pretty cool. Dalit has been under attack by the G Army since about 72 hours ago. 49 hours into the battle, Dalit abandoned their position in the inner city. Currently, they have retreated to the nearby mountains and are reorganizing troops. That's current status. Now on to mission objective. According to our reports, the Galbadian army is mopping up the Dalit troops in the mountain region. We're here to make a landing at Lepin Beach. We're to eliminate the remaining G army within the city and liberate it ASAP. Afterwards, Seed members will intercept any Galbadian army forces trying to make their way into the city from the mountain region. Yeah, Cypher's not even looking. What are we supposed to do? Seed candidates are to eliminate the G army inside the city. Oh, it hardly needs to be said, but the order to withdraw takes priority. Do not forget. Not in this playthrough, I don't think, Dream Whisperer. But yeah, as Takoida pointed out, and this is, again, going to how quietly dark this game is, this is a live combat exercise as part of the final exam. As in, you actually have to go and engage in an actual mission that they're actually being paid for as part of the Mercenary Corps in order to graduate. Oh yeah, you also have to kill people. And yeah, you could die, too, while we're on the subject. You have to kill, and you can die. No, it's not dark at all. Would that be legal in real world? I'm not going to answer that question. But this is a cool cutscene, though. Also, the first of like 50 times the moon is used as a motif in this game. Seriously, the moon is going to show up all the time. It is a constant visual motif. Alright. Very minor point. You'll notice that Quistis isn't in our party, but she's still junctioned, and we can still access her on the menu. This also leads to the switch button, where we can just do that. And just straight up swaps in between who's junctioned to what, which is actually a pretty cool feature, given how many times the party changes cameras in this game. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. That's a cool feature. I don't know why, Valvedrix, but sure. Hang on. Oh no, we have to kill people. It's okay, they deserve to die, because they're the enemy. Ah, gotcha. That's weird. That's an interesting question, Blue Wolf Alex. Depends on the work. Yeah, the load times are really fast in this one. No, Cypher is not Seed. Yeah, I just don't care, Abel. Cypher sucks. Nobody likes him. Yeah, I've always thought Galbadian soldiers look a lot like Shinra soldiers. Probably a deliberate parallel. Sorry, checking something real quick. I was actually just questioning that. I'm not sure, Dream Whisperer. They need to make use of them somehow, Venters. See, that looks like a more ordinary car. Kind of a little Fallout-y, but, you know. Something. A little bit, yeah, Lex. I mean, there's Enknun, which you can actually get really early on, but... Nope, can't escape. And I don't have... I don't have any ability to kill him without getting experience, I don't think. Not yet, anyways. Check here real quick. Where are we at on that? Yeah, I hate to give up on it when I'm so close to refining. Oh, you can't turn these guys into cards. That's hysterical. I didn't know. I never even thought about that, Meat Fist. That's a good idea. Cypher will carry the day. I'm kidding, we're not doing that. We'll just accept a little bit of experience. course, Cypher doesn't hide. He also doesn't attack, which is really weird. Go on, Cypher, go kill him. They're right there. You could kill all of them, Cypher. You could watch their blood spill onto your blade. Don't you understand? Yeah, for once they actually can't radio in, which is hysterical. That's a plot point. Yes, it is, Strife. I never played the remaster before. So... God, his pants are so high up. I have to admit, I don't like Cypher as a character. But he is presented here exactly as he should be. No, seriously. He is a child who is a child soldier who has no understanding of proper empathy or decency, but at the same time isn't at the point of being an actual psychopath. I suppose I should. One of the only times we see the Dalit soldier model. Hope you enjoyed that. Since you can barely even tell it's there in the original. Yeah, I agree, Dream Whisper. Cypher is the byproduct of Norg's Academy. That is absolutely true. So, last time I did this, I got stuck at the first boss because I hadn't drawn. So... Thankfully, we can at least triple speed this. Actually, I know how to do this. It does. Finishing Blow does actually increase the expand. In fact, it was on the computer tutorial. When you access the computer. Yeah, it's built into the game. I will not have to use any external cheats for this run. Or 9. That's cool too. Hello? There we go. I actually can't flee. Yeah, I don't think I'll need cheats in 7, 9, 4, 5, or 6. This is the last game I have any plans to cheat on. We'll see. I can absolutely imagine that, Lex. Yeah, I'll let Cypher die. Screw him. Yep, nope, that's exactly what just happened, Dakota. I suppose I should actually kill this thing. What's funny is FF10 has that same problem. What's funny is there's a menu option too. Maybe I could toggle that. Because the menu is much easier to use than just trying to figure it out. So, limit breaks, right? It's probably worth noting that one of the things Takoida mentioned earlier is absolutely true. I know, strange. One of the things Takoida mentioned was how the only reason Garden can get away with throwing children into live combat exercises is because they have the GF advantage. It's also probably worth noting, if you're paying attention, that it makes sense why so many mundane soldiers have so many issues with so many things throughout the whole game. This scene is just one of many examples of that. We are legitimately substantially stronger than everyone else in this game who isn't a sorceress because we have the GFs. Wrong thing. I need this button. What are we learning now? So now we get card. And you go ahead and grab boost, I guess. Oh, I forget. They actually say how many numbers of people here total, Takoida. Because they give the number of squads and the number per squad, but I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. It's not a lot. It's not even a full company strength. No, Sour Cookie. They recruit kids because... Anyways, so... I probably should draw at some point. Yeah, no, the real harshness, and this is something that's never actually mentioned in the games, but it is entirely possible that the reason they're using kids is because they know what the GFs do to people, and so they're getting a bunch of pliable soldiers. And remember, that is what Norg wants. Because he's, avaricious. So what's your romantic dream? That's a good, that's actually another good example of the translation not really being up to snuff. He doesn't mean romantic in the romantic sense. He means romantic in the romantic sense. Hi, Selfie. With the shirt that's too short for her. And a mini skirt. Weird expression right at the end there. What the hell? My name is Selfie from Squad A. I'm going to tell you about my romantic dream. That's true, they have no dress code. Although they do have official Seed uniforms. What? Why am I suddenly walking? There we go. Selfie's not in... Oh, wait. No, she's totally insane. I've heard some people say Selfie is another good example of what happens as a result of the Seed program. That she's just... She's not insane in the traditional sense of the words. that she's actually psychopathic. Oh, whatever. Yes, Kira White Noise. I mean, have you paid attention to what Selphie does in this game? Like, really? Yes, she takes selfies. That makes her a psychopath. Wait a minute, I took a selfie earlier. You equipped a GF, right? I should have an equipped a GF counter. Jeez Louise. That's exactly what happens. How did you know? It totally wouldn't, Dakota, you're right. Yeah, Selphie is basically the explosives person. Not really in the traditional sense of the word. She just likes exploding things. Okay, we're full on those. With him. For sure, let's go ahead and cast on spawn once here. Thankfully, with triple speed, this takes a lot less time to do. Holy crap. I thought that would take a lot longer. About triple the time, actually. True enough, though, Dakota. By the way, when I mentioned the ammo thing, ammo is per character. So just, it's not like you have 100 party cures, you have 100 cures per person. Oh, there we go. I was gonna go until she got 100. Bunch of figs, cures. Oh, actually. You can draw anywhere, Lex Scoopster. And you can draw infinitely. That's actually in lore. Because drawing is such a weaker form of magic than actual magic in this setting. What we're doing is basically parlor tricks compared to real magic. They do actually go out of their way to show how different sorceress magic is, both in terms of what it can accomplish and in how it looks visually. What they do is basically reality altering. What we do is throw a fireball, you know? And yeah, I love the idea that that guy was like, oh god, they're ripping all the magic out of me! No, the real gameplay and story segregation is that a draw point can only be drawn once per X period of time. I think they respawn, but I don't actually remember. So don't quote me on that. Well, that's because screw you, Meadfist. Actually, no, the real reason for that is because by the time Adia joins the party, she is no longer a sorceress. So that still lines up. Well, you see, Dream Whisperer. No, actually, that makes sense, too. Just about anyone casts magic. Magic is relatively easy to cast and use. Although, once again, there is a bit of gameplay and story segregation there, because you're supposed to only be able to draw with a Guardian Force. We can only use items with a Guardian Force. And yet, basically, anybody can draw, regardless of whether they have a Guardian Force or not, in lore. So how many of you think I'm about to die on this boss? Just like I did during the marathon. So here's Biggs and Wedge. Quiet and busy. This goes like this, and jeez, what's all these crappy old tools? Why do I have to make these repairs? That's a good question. Why did they assign the Major to make repairs on the radio tower? Let's see, put this here, and I'm going to deliberately not draw Siren just to troll you guys. It's okay, I'll get her in Ultimecia's castle. Oh no! Oh god, what's happening? Sorry. How did he fix all that from where he is? Also, they really like things that are, frankly, frankly, that are actually too fanciful to be really practically realistic. Like, all of this is just to open up a communications tower. A radar dish. Look at all this. It's still going. That's some pretty advanced tech. What do you think you're doing? Huh? Likewise, mister. What do you think you're doing? Hey, what happened to the soldiers down below? Wedge, take care of these twerps. Wedge? Well, I seem to be done here. I'll just be on my way. Are you crazy? Just shut up. Boss battle. First boss in the game, technically, if it doesn't count. Prepare for the worst, you brats. Hey, what's this? Esuna. I don't remember if that's worthwhile. Pretty low for me. As far as the FF boss, typical boss songs go, I've never really liked this one that much. It doesn't have the energy I think a boss fight really needs. No, you want a good boss song in this song, you listen to Laguna's theme. Ah, that's true. Esuna would be good for status junctioning. I'll give you that. But I'm not going to sit here and grind ranking that. Which, where were you? No pay for you this month. I should have stayed home. Why didn't you? Sheesh. Yeah, the clothesline hurts more than his guns. I think this is when that really started becoming a trope. That swords were better than guns. I mean, I know you can disagree with that, and you have reason to, but this is when it started really becoming a thing for me, because after this it started becoming really commonplace, that the guy with the gun was, like, the weak hitter. Irvine is a similar problem there. Although Irvine's limit break is pretty nice, so I guess there's that. So, time to die, probably. I'm actually legitimately expecting a death here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Irvine's limit break costs a lot. Yeah, I'm not fond of FF8's monster designs. Cough, cough, the fake president, cough, cough. Well, we haven't finished judging the intro yet. Draw failed! Oh yeah, that's a thing that can happen. God, I actually forgot about that, because I usually don't draw at all. Draw failed. Okay, that's not good. I know it's weird, Lex, the way that works out. Oh, I feel you, Dream Whisperer. The fake president is just gross, with a capital Gr. We might be okay, but I apparently can't draw the doubles, and that's probably fine. I don't remember, Flex. It really has been a long time. I usually don't bother trying to draw. Oh god, you're right, Dakota, because they touched up the models. I can't wait. We'll get to see Adel in all her glory, too. Oh, double is super worthwhile, but I'm not gonna bother, I don't think. That is really weird, Blue Wolf, but I don't know. So while this is going to be a bit of a long fight, so what do you define as the end of FF8's intro? You'll notice I haven't brought that up yet. This is another one of those debatable situations. However, most people I know tend to sit on one of two similar mentalities. Either it ends before this mission, or it ends after this mission. Of time. Someone go stab Slavity for me, would you, real quick? That's interesting, Capdog. Personally, I think it's after the mission. Now, whether it's after the scene, after the mission or not, that's a little bit debatable, because there's actually two slight variances to that. Because the Dalit mission is still, in many ways, a tutorial of a lot of how this stuff works. This is effectively our first real boss right here. And then we have the runaway fight, which basically turns into a cutscene boss. and allows Quistis to be awesome for the only time she's awesome in the entire game. And then we go home, and it's like, all right, you're promoted. And then there's the party. See, in typical narrative lingo, I would say the party and the subsequent events are the bridge to the first chapter. But a bridge can be considered part of Chapter 1 or the prologue. That's kind of up to you. Either way, I would argue strongly that at the very least, the intro doesn't end until we finish the Dalit mission. I'm curious. Yeah, that was the scene I was referring to, Lex Scoopster. Why would you do that to yourself, Starscream? I know, you didn't know. Yeah, you notice the variance on how much it heals. I'm glad you're liking it, Alpha Host. I love that game, so I'm with it. What's funny is, it's actually really fast and easy to level in this game. Just straight up leveling, increasing your levels. I sometimes wonder if they did that entirely on purpose. How much freaking health does this guy have? There we go. Sheesh. Anyways. And as usual, bosses don't give experience. Hey, we got a weapons magazine. Woo! Who wants to be Siren? With the amazingly... She has 2 eyebrows. I just noticed that. Anyways. Valvedrix, you got it. But only if you buy a mic. Oh, I know Valvedrix. You don't have to... Squad B, Captain? I have new orders. I could have told you them quite a while ago. However, we have to withdraw at 1900 hours. Order to withdraw takes priority. Don't want to miss the ship. We only have 30 minutes. Let's go. I'll just hang out for a second here. Take my time. Oh my god, prom is actually tomorrow. What about that? I didn't even see she had move find. Okay, yeah. You know, if they had this giant mecha thing, why didn't they use it earlier? Or maybe they did. I don't know. Yeah, sure thing, Biggs. I actually answered that much earlier, Starscream. And I didn't want to repeat myself because I'm stupid. Aw. You told me he had life! Life. Give me life. No, so... Oh, gosh. The problem is, the junction system, in my opinion, can't be fixed in a vacuum. There's a lot of connecting points that need to be addressed in this game. Changing how combat maneuvering works, change how the combat itself works, change the nature of positioning, change the dynamic of how junctioning works at all, change how magic works entirely. You know, blah 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 blah. You get the idea. Basically, let's just say a total overhaul and leave it at that. Yeah, I also think a few little more polishing details could be done, like separating certain commands from junctioning entirely. Like, for example, the fact that you need to have a junction to use items. Which is just kind of a what? So that's cool and terrifying. Oh, wasn't paying attention. Yeah, Omega -1. One of the things that amuses me most is it looks like this mega death machine, but its attacks look like it's basically poking you, instead of doing anything, you know, actually intimidating and awesome. It looks like this is the kind of thing that should probably kill us in a few seconds. But whatever, is the same. I don't remember which summon is which, I just realized that. Oh my god, you're right! It speeds up the game, but not the timer! That is hysterical! back, Zam-Man. Whoops. Squall will be fine. Squall dies. There you go. Squall dies, ending his canon now. Fine. Substantially different, Lex. Because draw variance is huge. I don't have Thunder, dude. I guess I got this. No, it does an animation, Starscream. It's pretty obvious when it does it. Yeah, I remembered. Ah, screwed it up. At least the animations are sped up in this one, unlike, say, I think it was 12, where they were not. Spamming GFs. It is an extremely valid strategy. Random CGI cutscene of awesome. Why would we stop and turn to look at it? Why would we ever do that? Probably not, Starscream. Now, hang on, I don't want to look at that donation just yet. This is why. unnecessary. Very cool. I do like how a dedicated gun emplacement is what finally takes that thing down, by the way. Hey, you're right, it was a gun stronger than a sword. Holy crap. Okay, so... real quick, let me go see that donation. It's from Readloss808, who just joined us. I noticed you actually joined us in chat. As I say to everyone who pokes their head in, whether they give me $50 or not, don't be a stranger. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, you are more than welcome to. We do like interacting with our viewers in chat here. One big community, etc., etc. So, thank you very, 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 very much. Very much obliged, the support. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can actually put that towards showing interest in or increasing priority on a future stream. So if you'd like to do so, you are entirely welcome to do so, and I'll jot it down. But either way, thank you very, very much. And yeah, if you've seen the KOTOR lore run, you probably know how much we chat around here. Now... arguments could be had as to whether the intro has already ended or just ended. In hindsight, I think I'm going to kind of shove back the intro a little bit in my mind, but I haven't really talked about a lot of the presentation of the intro up till this point. In a vacuum, what do you guys think about the intro, assuming it was to terminate at roughly this point? See you around, Aethel. I do hope to see you later. Yes, I'm not evil, Starscream. Go figure. Interestingly enough, I think this intro is actually really good. There's a lot of world building. There's a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of showing the work. This intro is a lot different the second time through because a lot of this makes a lot more sense the second time through. There is a decent amount of Babylon 5 effect going on here. I do feel like this is probably one of the better parts of the entire game, in my opinion. Probably because a fairly demonstrable amount of effort was put into making all of this be self-coherent and make sense. You know, there's a wonderful mundanity to the way that this is all presented, in a good way. I shouldn't call that mundanity. There's a wonderfully down-to-earth nature to it. You know, this is military academy. We're being sent on this mission. GFs empower us using magic as part of the natural finding. Blah blah blah. It's all good stuff, and it does help to establish a lot of the trends and points of the scene. Gameplay wise, so gameplay wise, I'm a lot more neutral on the intro. You know, we start off with the Ifrit mission, if you could even call it that. Like, that's just the most bare bones of a tutorial of how combat works. So that's basically tutorial land right there. Then we have a series of cutscenes and blah, blah, blah. Oh! And we move forward into the actual first mission, which is mostly just moving forward in a linear path and engaging in enemies. However, I think FF8 did do a reasonably good job of disguising the... what do you call it? Hiding the corridor, right? Even though this is an extremely linear mission, it does a good job to kind of make it feel like it's moving forward in a reasonable manner. We also see some... so I'm trying to think how to wind around this, but basically I think the first boss sucks. Let me just get to my point. I think the first boss actually sucks. It has entirely too much HP for the kind of damage that a normal player would be doing at this point in time, assuming you didn't run out and grind up GFs and draws and or levels, which is doable. Like, at this point in the game, it's possible to actually be doing fairly substantially strong. But if you don't, and if you're just playing... I mean, you'll notice I just stopped and held down A for several minutes, which I probably shouldn't have actually done, and I definitely wouldn't do in a normal playthrough. So it kind of runs into a little bit of a brick wall there. That's doubly important considering that every other encounter in this section is actually completely fair and well-designed, I would say. Not great, but at least well-designed. You know, the normal soldiers taking like 1 or 2 hits makes perfect sense. The first few enemies, the actual monsters, taking substantially longer. Okay, yeah, I'm with that. Even the giant mecha thing following us kind of worked for me. Because you can't kill it the first time, sure, but then you can actually kill it if you want to. You only have to do so much damage to run from it, and you can draw things from it to help yourself keep up and blah, blah. Basically, it's fairly designed, is what I'm trying to say. Nothing about it is mean. The only thing that's mean is that first boss. So I think a plus to story is fairly well mandated here. I think I can make a strong argument for that. That's true. Even the first boss does have cure. I will give it that. If it didn't, I wouldn't have killed it. If you're paying attention, I was leaning on curing a lot to keep up with that one. That's why I didn't even bother trying to pull double, because I was so far behind the damage curve that I couldn't keep up with drawing double. At least not with my current setup. This is one of the things that's really challenging for me in reviewing this particular branch of FFs. From 4 to 9, I know pretty well. And I'm trying to, like, remove that knowledge and play the game normally to try and get a more judge of what a game is actually like. I mean, do you have any idea how hard that's going to be when it comes to, like, 5 or 6? Anyways, but that is part of what I'm trying to do here. Play the game normally to judge it from a normal perspective and see what it's like when you don't have a walkthrough and you don't know what you're doing. So, plus to story. For the intro. No, Baron, the remaster hasn't changed any story points whatsoever. Or, excuse me, gameplay points. That's true. I do understand that I shouldn't level. That doesn't... I basically never over-leveled in this game. I told you the incident with the zombie boss. I can absolutely do that, Raid Loss. You got it. Is it Raid Loss or Read Loss, by the way? Or Ride Loss? Help me out, man. I'm terrible at pronunciations. This is one of those weird things, because my normal playstyle is to not Korean method. In fact, what I should probably technically be doing is Korean methoding and not deliberately running from fights and leveling normally. In order to gauge how bad the scaling mechanic is. But I don't want to put up with that. So, can we just say the scaling mechanic and then just move on from that? Anywho, So if it's soldier... It would be like ridge loss, right? Ridge loss, roughly, something like that. Actually, you know what? No. I take that back. Alright, so yeah, no. Did I add the story plus? Yes, I did. Okay. So definitely a story plus for the intro. I honestly, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, though, I think gameplay-wise, the intro is just kind of a wash. I don't think it's a positive or a negative. I think it's just there. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but it doesn't do anything really, like, offensive either, you know? I don't like that first boss, but even, as Blue Wolf pointed out, even the first boss isn't as bad as it can get, even in this game. So, shrug. Yeah, I think we're just going to gameplay the intro as a neutral. Now, the intro technically hasn't actually ended yet, depending on how you define it, but I'd say a good argument could be said that the gameplay intro has just ended. The story intro might end in a bit here, but the gameplay intro has definitely terminated at this point. And of course, Fujin speaks in all caps because, I don't know, as a kid, or I guess teenager, I always thought she was literally shouting, "Safe!" You know. Yeah, safe. Like a really loud computer, you know. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and admit something. Triple Triad is almost assuredly gonna be at least one positive and a negative. I know that's gonna draw some ire, but I do stand by that. Can anyone guess why it's a positive and a negative? Yeah, the rule spreading, yeah. That is exactly correct. Completely optional thing here. This is my house, but don't make yourself too comfortable. Timber Maniacs. Not. Yeah, so we're not going to go into that. They really have a thing with magazines of a particular variety in the Final Fantasy series. I have no idea why. It's my room. It's sacred to keep out. Oh, okay, sorry. I just wanted to play your mom at cards. Of course, I have awful initial cards. I'm not going to wager my Ifrit. I'm not that stupid. That up. As soon as I realized it was over, so whatever. This is why I didn't wager my Ifrit. I actually prefer the FF14 version of this, by the way. Make of that what you will. It's just a little bit different, but I think the few small changes make it better. Oh, I don't want to go first. I think I just lost. Yep. Well, that is game, as they say. Surround history. I'm not even trying at this point. As soon as that initial draw happened, I've lost. I just don't have good enough cards to hit her. I wonder what happens if I run out of cards. I don't think I've ever done that. Ah, that's true, Honto. Use card, you're right. Oh no, it's a bug! And Squall's dead! No! Squall! What am I doing? But anyways, there's slightly different rule variants in the 14 version. I think the UI is a little cleaner, too. I don't remember what else, though. You'll have to ask someone who's, you know, an actual expert on 14, which I am absolutely not. Technically, I remind you, he has 0 HP right now. Oh, he got rezzed with 1 HP. He actually rezzed him. Oh, that's great. Yeah, Rax is a total Triad addict, but he's not on. He doesn't like watching my streams. He hates me. I'd say secretly, but you know how it is. But yeah, I was actually pushing Triple Triad pretty hard until I realized there was nothing I actually wanted from the Golden Saucer, so I stopped. I still have a few 100,000 GP just lying around. Candidates are back safely, right? Nah, I didn't actually like how it looked in game, or it was too Amano, you know. We didn't realize the Galbadian army was after the abandoned communication tower. Hey, we just received word from the dukedom. The Galbadian army has agreed to withdraw as long as the tower remains operational. That's Galbadia in a nutshell. They invade to conquer, and when they stop winning, they just say, okay, Lord. But I point that out because that is Galbadia in a nutshell. It doesn't even occur to them to just say, hey, what would it take for you to reactivate your communications tower? They just invade militarily as their first action. Think about that. That says a lot for the Galbadian approach, and Delling in general. Thanks, Zhu. Damn it, Sabacom. I totally would have said that, too. That's a good question, Starscream. I'm not sure, truthfully. There's a little bit of gray area when it comes to the timeline in between the events of the past and the events of now. Your documentation tower? We would have been heroes if there weren't for that withdrawal order. I don't like this song. You were only looking for a fight. My dear instructor, I'm hurt. Those are rather cruel words for an aspiring student. I did, actually, Valvatrix. A mediocre instructor like you will never understand. Cypher, don't be so stuck on yourself. You'll be taking all responsibility for leaving designated area. Isn't it the captain's duty to take best possible action? Cypher, you'll never be a seed. Calling yourself a captain's a joke. Really awkward way of animation. I really don't like this song. It just doesn't work for me at all. I don't even know what it's trying to do. That's FF8 in a nutshell. I love this soundtrack, but I also don't like it in pretty much the exact same breath. Wait until we get to, I can't think of the name of the place. Fanciful City. You will be disciplined for your irresponsible behavior. You must follow orders exactly during combat. But I'm not entirely without sympathy for you. I don't want you all to become machines, even though you must follow all orders exactly. Headmaster said you have some business in your office. There's so many issues at hand here. I'd explain that, but I'm not properly localized. Yeah, I actually mentally thought this was Cypher's theme for a while. We are not a non-profit organization. This incident will be a hard-learned lesson for the Dalit Dukedom. They'll now know to be more generous when hiring seed. Aizen Me is still in this, and we will absolutely be muting it. Yeah, you notice the timing of that, Dakota. Sheesh. For the longest time, I actually thought the Norg loyalists were literally robots. Or some kind of monsters. No, they're just people who are really loyal to Norg, probably because he pays their bills, or pays their wages. Rage! Sorry, I gotta say that with no emotion. Rage. Rage. It's all your fault. Cypher doesn't cut him a seed. She's pretty scary, you know. God, I cannot look at Fujin the same way. I'm not gonna talk about why, though. So let's see. He's super nervous. Zell's pacing. Of course he is. Talk to me! Okay, fine, don't. I'll just go this way. Move around for a bit. I give up. I'm out. Okay, maybe not. No, Death Platty! No, dang it. Oh, I know, Pyro. Trust me, I know. That's the point I'm really trying to make here. There's not a lot of politics in the traditional sense of the word. And most of it is really front-loaded at the beginning of the game. Synchronized snap. There we go. These are the 4 students who passed today's exam. First of all, congratulations. However, from now on, as a member of SEED, you'll be dispatched all over the world. We are proud to introduce SEED, Balamb Garden's mercenary soldiers. SEED soldiers are combat specialists. But this is only one aspect of SEED. One of my girlfriends used to... Anyways, when the time comes... Headmaster, it's time for the meeting. Please make this short. SEED is a valuable asset to Garden. Its reputation is solely dependent on each one of you. Handle your mission with care. Is that what you wanted to say, sir? Here's your SEED rank report. No, fan fiction, actually. She and I met in a role-playing, storytelling group. She was actually playing Fujin. Thank you very, very much, Dream Whisperer. Very much appreciate, as always, sir. You know the question. Looking forward to the Garden Festival. Do your best, even if you don't stand out. Character who isn't even given a name in this scene. We actually do get his name later. Try to control our emotions a little. Yeah, no kidding, Dakota. Finally, a Gunblade specialist. Finally an Alt-Tab, so I can go type over here. VTMB1, you got it. This ends the SEED inauguration. Here's a battle meter. We'll talk privately one day. Very privately. Wink, wink. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my rank is crap. Oh, excuse me. Oh god, I don't remember where it is. I guess I'm not there yet. Seed, seed, seed. They're so happy to become professional mercenaries. After 17 years of suffering, my chance has finally arrived. Oh, Squall did die. Depends on what you define as after this game, Mr. Red. Because stable time loop. I'm pretty sure they just did this to try and soften Cypher a bit. Oh, here we go. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. Past the time loop, I'm pretty sure Seed stops existing. Or becomes a new force in power and death. 5 is terrible. But I was expecting that, considering I've been trying to deliberately not level. I still have 1 HP. I'm curious if the game's ever going to actually heal me. Like in a cutscene heal, you know? Oh yeah, so hang on. One moment, please. Just because. What, you actually read the tests? Pshaw. Just treat it like real-life college, guys. I actually usually do this right off the bat. I think it's one of the first things I do in almost every playthrough. We'll do one more for now. Never mind. I was apparently off on my numbers. Don't mind me. Gotta do my exams. Yeah, pretty much, okay. Nice. Ridge lost. That's right, I gotta remember that. Ridge lost. Or Ridge loss. Oh, right, sorry, I gotta get changed for the party. Because we have to get introduced to the worst character in the game. My opinion. Renault is probably going to be a negative. I mean, he is the best looking guy here. Okay, all jokes aside, this is actually probably one of the better establishing scenes for Squall. Legitimately. This is a big party with lots of people, and he's standing over in a corner by himself, trying to not interact with everyone. I mean, that really is Squall in a nutshell, right there. I was gonna say, how many people do you know like that in real life? Or are that person yourself? And again, no insult or offense intended. It's just that really is Squall. Oh, it's a party. Okay. Wander, wander. Yeah, sure, I'll join. I'm not like that. But it also depends on the group. Because sometimes I'll just go and zone out. Moon again, by the way. Hey, it's the best looking girl here. That's a total lie. And then this repeats like 5 times in a row for some weird reason. You're the best looking guy here. And we can't meme it. We can't meme it, guys. Correct, other lore. No, I refuse to dance. Yeah, that dress actually looks uncomfortable. I just looking at it is like, ugh. No thank you. But then again, I think a lot of the models have that problem. Selfie's skirt has the exact same problem in modeling. I hated dancing like this. I took lessons. Hated it. So, Kay, first of all, stab. Second of all, the point is, and you should know this, Mr. Modeler, it's only in the in-game model. Her skirt is a perfectly acceptable length in the CGI. Well, I mean, it's still a little short, but it is noticeably short in the actual game model. I have to admit, the CGI cutscenes worked for me in 8. Better than they did in 10. Or 10-2. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Kay, if you actually pay attention. Yeah, even ignoring for the time, I think these hold up pretty well. And again, I think these are better than 10s. I mean that sincerely. Yeah, 10 had the problem with the really bad lip syncing and the faces being off. 8 bypassed both of those problems. Nine CGI cutscenes are fine, but I know this is sacrilegious to say, but I think 8s are a bit better overall. Most of the quality of 9's cutscenes comes down to the directing of some of them, rather than the specific implementation of the characters and whatnot. Thank you. Yes. So you'll dance with someone you don't even know, but you can't stand being around me? I love you, Squall. I think it's romantic, but actually it's the feelings of being a big sister to try and replace alone in your life. But I don't remember that because of the Guardian Force. You're an instructor, I'm your student. It's kind of awkward when you don't say anything. That's true. I was like that myself. Oh, I completely forgot. I wonder what's to become of me. Yeah, some of this dialogue is just... I've come to give you an order. You and I are to go to the secret area. It's where the students secretly meet up and talk after curfew. It's inside the training center. What do you want to do there? Are we going to tell everyone they're violating curfew? If that's the case, forget it. Leave that for the disciplinary committee. Yeah, I love how she wore that outfit to the prom. Gotta show off... She has to show off her belly, right? It's extremely important to show off a woman's belly. So she only shows off this tiny slit that barely shows off her belly button. Just to make sure she technically qualifies. I'm sorry, her outfit is actually fine. I don't mind it, but it's always amused me how she's got that one tiny little slit for her belly button. It kind of is Starscream. The problem is, as usual, it wasn't really properly presented in lore. Why didn't you properly present it more? Yeah, she's totally going to go and make out with him. I don't know, Eric. I don't know what to... I can't turn it off, first of all. But second of all, I don't know what to put there. I haven't thought of anything yet. I still have 1 HP! Okay, this is funny, because we're about to go into a combat area. Oh, she totally wants to go make out with him, but she also doesn't want that. That's kind of the problem. And it's pretty much her only character arc, is the fact that she thinks she wants him, but she actually doesn't. Or maybe she does, and she fails miserably at it, and thus kind of moves on. Take your pick. Both are acceptable interpretations. Have you fought the T-Rex R? No. Let's go over status junction tutorials. Let's not. Yeah, I don't have sleep magic. Thanks. Although, if I might be so bold, I do think she would be a little bit better of a fit than Renoa, but that's just me. That would be interesting, Lex. I'm not sure if I would like that, though. So here's the T-Rex. You got this, Squall! I know, right? Ridge Lost, just picture for a second. Hey, quick, let's go to the secret area. Okay. Ah! Stab, stab, stab. And they get to the makeout spot, and they are covered in blood, and they're tired. And, you know, they're panting, because like, oh my god, we barely survived. We almost didn't make it. Wow, this is encounter rate. Holy crap. And yes, the Dalit mission was the the demo. Okay, I'm sorry. It's been a long time. What are you talking about, Pyro? What insanity are you speaking of, Pyro? It's been a long time since I have taken an attractive woman out and made out with her, but I don't think this one random open patio with other people on it within, like, just right there range is the spot that I would take to... There's like the opposite of intimacy here, right? I don't know, this just always bothered me. Let's go to the makeout spot. First we have to fight through the monsters, and then we get one tiny little 10-foot square of spot. Just, whatever. So I still don't know what you're talking about, Pyro. We've got story positives and story negatives, and then gameplay positive and gameplay negatives. What's the question? Okay. I'm not making fun. I'm not making fun. I just didn't understand the question. Yeah, I'm sorry. If Bragon was like, hey, let's go out to the spot, I'd be like, no. Like, I love you, Bragon, but no. I do like this song. The music just bounces up and down for me in 8. By the way, this is actually kind of important. She hits seed at 15, the earliest you can. I only point that out because most of the party members are pretty high tier. And she's just pouring her heart out to him, and he's not even listening, because his character arc has to finally get started. Oh my god, Pyro, that sounds horrible. I am so sorry. Go talk to a wall. Are there times when you want to share your feelings with someone? Everyone has to take care of themselves. Yeah, all the party members are high tier except for Renoa until she becomes a sorceress, which then... That's another thing I'd change gameplay-wise, by the way. I would make Renoa junk early game. In fact, I believe I would make it so she can't use Guardian Forces. I would also do that with Irvine, by the way, and make him substantially different gameplay-wise. Still at 1 HP. I'm gonna save. But yeah, the idea is once Renoa then becomes a sorceress, she would become substantially stronger in gameplay. You know, in the lore version of this game. Actually, I don't think he has his mission yet. I'm not sure about that. I mean, obviously, we are going on a mission tomorrow, but I don't remember if he knows that yet. But yeah, the idea would be to actually change the gameplay aspect of both Irvine and Renoa. I mean, if you already have access... No, Squall! To the PS1 version, you might as well stick with it. I like having it on the PC and the built-in stuff, so... I do like the new models, even though they contrast the old stuff. I do like the new models. We'll see what I think further on, because all of the monsters and bosses have new models, too. It's Alone, who is asking for Quisty. Now, this is actually surprisingly subtle. How many of you actually noticed this the first time you played this? Because Alone calls Quistis Quisty, which is a pet name, a friendly name. I will admit, I noticed it too, but I'm with Valvidrix. I thought it was a typo. I didn't realize. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, it's not like it was unusual back in the day to have typos like that, right? Oh god, she's not junctioned. Okay. E-L-L-O-N-E. Yes, that is her name. Yeah, very lucky limit break. Oh my gosh, look at the luck on this limit breaks. This is my fault. I'm just being a dick. I shouldn't. I apologize. It's pure RNG that I just keep getting these limit breaks and am sitting at max HP. Actually, I know that, Valvidrix, because I've looked into the tasks of this game. And they do some interesting manipulation of limit breaks. And it's fascinating the way they get them to work. So, for those of you not aware, there is a 256 measure, which is ticking down for every interaction. So every time you hit any button that actually has a result, it will advance that marker forward. Now, what's changes is there's certain things in the game that determine the range, and if you hit whatever that range is, that's what determines whether or not you get a limit break. So, if everyone's alive and they're at full health, you have a 1 in 256 chance to get a limit break. However, the more people that are dead, whether you have the buff on or not, and the lower your health is, the substantially higher that range becomes, until it gets to the point where it's like 1 in 50, or excuse me, 1 in 2, 50% chance. It's an interesting system, really. She feigns for no reason. Where the hell were you guys? Hello, Sakage. I honestly don't remember Starscream. Bye, Alone. You want to say anything to me? Like, anything plot relevant? No? Okay. Just wondering. Is he still dead? He's still dead. At this point, I'm really curious if I'm ever going to get a cutscene heal. Yeah, the white seed outfits look kind of not my style. Squall, it's not like everyone... She was trying to stop them from... No, Quistis, you can't make out with Squall. You're making a terrible stank. So one of the built-in cheats, it's that one right there. You see in the upper left? That built-in cheat allows you to... your health is frozen at full health, and every turn you get a limit break. And I think there's actually one other thing about it. Hang on, I can check that really quick. Apparently it also makes you have full ATB all the time. That's the other thing it does. It's kind of like the speed up cheat, which is also built into the game, as you can see. There you are. Where the hell is all of you? So I guess we got our own rooms. Woo! Thanks, Zell. Looks like we're going to Timber. Hurry. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is when he finds out that there's a mission. In the morning, he's woken up early by the news that he's got a mission immediately. Now, this is one of those interesting things. I know people like to make fun of this game, but I have to say, I really do like how well crafted the plot is. So, the specific reason... Oh, hey, we actually were restored. The specific reason we are being sent on this mission is because they took this mission for very low pay, and it's not really properly supported by the actual rulers of the garden, which is Norg, right? We've already seen how much influence the Norganites have over Cid, right? So he can only send his brand new, under-supported seed to this. Actually, Renoa requested Cypher. As you might imagine, that didn't work out. Enjoy that animation. It's going to play like twice in the entire game. Yeah, I agree, Wilking. A surprisingly large amount of thought was put into the design, into the plot of this game. Oh yeah, speaking of the short skirt problem, look at Selfie. Now keep looking. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, yeah, this is part of what I was talking about earlier. If you see Selfie's CGI render, she looks fine. But in the model, it just cuts off at the wrong place. Because I'm guessing the way they designed it was they decided to chop it off at the first junction rather than the second junction, which is at the knee. So it just it terminates way shorter than it should, and it looks really awkward in the in-game model. Like, it looks like she's wearing a shirt, actually. You are to go to Timber. I hate that too, Blue Wolf. I'm with you on that. There you'll be supporting a resistance faction. That is your mission. A member of the faction will contact you at Timber Station. The person I will talk to you and say the forests of Timbershire have changed, and you will say, but the owls are still around. That is the password. Follow the faction's orders. Just us three? Correct. We have agreed to do this mission for very little money. Normally, we would never accept such requests, but enough talk about that. Well, Squall, you're a squad leader. Use your judgment. Zell and Selfie, you are to support Squall and give your all to carry out faction's plans. Oh. Also, you should have this. Do we have blind right now? I don't think we do. I need to get to a save point. That would make sense, Pyro. Again, the fact that they were just starting with the humanoid models things is really self-apparent. Where's... I guess I'll just go outside and do it. Hmm. So... Hey, look, there's this item. Ah! Alright, how many of you used this item and died the first time you used it because you didn't know? Diablos actually looks pretty cool here. He does say it's a cursed item, but it's like, eh. There we go. What is it? Demi. That's useless. It's a good concept, too, I agree. Damn it. I can't remember the actual setup. It's been too long. Hey again, SJ. Yeah, Zell's limit break is probably the single easiest thing to break in this game. Like, there's plenty of ways to break this game, but Zell's limit break is the thing that even a casual playthrough is probably going to stumble across. Have a safe trip! Exclamation mark. I'd be interested to know your thoughts later in more detail, comma, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, period. Yeah, okay. There's actually a couple strats to kill this guy early, and that is one of them. And thank you for reminding me, by the way, Meatfist, because I actually did forget about that. Yeah, several of the spells are pretty cool in this one. Money, Mr. Red. I don't even remember how to do Armageddon Fist. So I suppose that answers your question. Oh yeah, I didn't actually mention the ultimate in this game looks pretty dumb. Not as dumb as 10's, but pretty dumb. And we're dead. Ugh. Well, Ultimecia just killed the world in compressed time. I like how the sword's broken. The politics of this situation are... Did the whole game just reset? It totally did. Holy crap. Are actually kind of strange to think about. Because the Galbadia... So right now, Seed get to giving out missions to everyone. Who cares? The problem is Galbadia is getting more and more aggressive as of late, and we'll get to the point where they probably shouldn't take missions against Galbadia. But, I mean, they're gonna, so whatever. So we're about at the cutoff point, so I'm just gonna do this and this. Because you could just repeat it and 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 basically infinitely loop it. It's not a true infinite. Although later on it becomes much worse than what you're seeing right now. Much worse. Ah, I finally got an aura. I was clicking too fast. Ah. Yeah, you have tons of time to do that. You'll notice that I've been doing that right now with, like, minimum level. And I'm still able to get, like, 6 or 7 in. Later on, you can get 30-ish in without even really trying hard. Yeah, the slot thing is kind of like Cyan's charge ability in FF6. Neat idea, bad execution. Oh yeah, you can totally one-shot Ultimisha with him. I mean, I'd let him take a turn, but honestly, does he need to have a turn? I mean, does he? Because in FF7 and 8, limit breaks have interruption priority, which means anytime a limit break happens, it actually interrupts the actual ATB flow, and it just happens first, no matter what. So every time I'm doing one of these, it's interrupting his ATB bar. I didn't even know that was actually a thing in FF7 until I was cheating, by the way. Like, way, way, way further down the line. I was playing the PC version of FF7, and there was a cheat to just have your limit break bar always full. And I was like, okay, that seems neat. And I did, like, the first boss, and the boss didn't move ever, and I was like, that's odd. And yeah, it's because of that. I'm not actually sure about that, Starscream. I think you're right, because the charge bar basically serves as the cast time of the summon. don't even remember the Diablo's story. What was it? Or was that the end of, like, the weird flying ship of weird? It was, wasn't it? That's the same raid that has Ozma in it. Yeah, no, is the answer to that question. Was not a super fan of that. And not just because of it. So, I know what you're saying. Oh man, I can't wait to be this guy. Well, no, sorry guys, someone already donated for this. Yes, really, someone donated to be this guy. So. Thank you for the donation. He is, of course, immediately going on him. Because there's only one ability he has that I care about. And that would be Enkaf, followed by Enknun. Actually, wait, she shouldn't be learning that. There it is, Card Mod. One of the most important abilities in the entire game. Yeah, you notice we haven't even had a chance to rename Renoa yet. That's an achievement. It's alright. Yeah, but I'm trying not to use the cheats that often, even though I know I just did. Twice. I have to adjust the document to show that. I swore... Okay, apparently I'm wrong. I thought there was something I was supposed to card battle, like, right now, here. Obviously not. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, and they perfectly mimic every animation done by the person in front of them, Kay. It's weird. It was the cafe... God damn it. Yeah, for triple speed. Oh, God... I can't even reach that guy over there. Hi, Saldir. Yeah, he has the Quistis card, doesn't he? That's why I feel like I remember doing this. I don't remember what the Quistis card gives, but I remember it being helpful. I hate going first. Is a loss. I'll try one more. And a bunch of rules that don't make sense with Alvatrix. That would be a great idea. He's got a Bahamut right now. Oh my god. Yeah, I have really crap cards to start with, so I'm just kind of figuring out what I can at this point. Oh, that sucks. Loss. And he takes Ifrit, because they always take your best card. Hey, I got an achievement for losing Ifrit. I'm not joking, I really did. Whatever. This is a good time as any to chop off for the night.